Welcome to another edition of BCSN Sports Flash. Greg Franke in here with you tonight, and we've got a father and daughter combination that we are going to be introducing to you tonight. We've got Corey Slovak, who is the head girls basketball coach at Clay High School. They've had an outstanding program the last several years under his leadership. And then Madison Slovak, who's been an outstanding gymnast for Clay and involved in a lot of other things that we'll be talking about as well. But first thing I want to say is that Clay High School has a history of very enlightened coaches. You've got two outstanding soccer players, Haley and Hannah Hess, whose father is the soccer coach and was assistant, now head soccer coach. But they were also great at track and field, and he said in the interest of their future, it was okay with him if they stopped playing soccer and go on to do track and field. And now here's a case where you're the basketball coach, you've got a very athletic daughter, and yet it's okay with you that she's not on the basketball team. I have to congratulate you for that.
Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of choice in that. She kind of made up her mind on her own, so I was good with her decisions.
But I understand that you did make an effort to get her to play.
Her freshman year, we needed a player, and so there may have been a little incentive for her to play that year. But
yeah, what were the terms that were offered to you there?
The terms were that if I stayed on the freshman basketball team throughout the entire year, that I would upgrade my phone to an iPhone.
So and you thought that was good enough to give it a try? Huh?
I thought that was good enough, and I knew he needed the extra player, so I was like, I'll do it one more year. I'll give it another shot.
But it came out tonight that if you'd upped the ante somewhat, you might have kept playing, huh?
There's a possibility that I could have still be playing if that would have been upped.
How were you as a basketball player?
I wasn't bad. I was more of a defensive player as opposed to an offensive. I didn't have the best ball handling skills, but it was a good time. I was aggressive. Given my soccer background, I knew how to block the girls and whatnot. So,
So you think she would have been an asset to the team, huh?
She would have been able to hold her own, yeah. But I'm happy with her decisions past that, so she's done pretty good for herself.
Well, you've had a great career in gymnastics, and also found out about a lot of other things you've been involved with theater, and especially in pageants, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But first of all, gymnastics, you started that. A lot of times the kids start bouncing off the walls at a real young age, and maybe the parents say, it might be good for gymnastics. Is that kind of what happened with you?
It did. I started gymnastics when I was 3, and ever since then I've learned so much from it. I've enjoyed it. There were times where I thought of quitting, thought I got burnt out, but there's just so many aspects of gymnastics that just kept me to stick with it, and I really love it. I do.
And you told me vault is kind of your main event.
Yes,
you did really well in that in the track meet last year, and that must be quite a feeling to just sort of be suspended in the air and twisting and turning, and not many people are going to experience that feeling. What's it like?
It's definitely a thriller. I love, and it's so quick. And so it's like once you're on, you run, you jump, and you're off. And so you get that quick to really perfect it and to really get the judges to like be, wow, that was a great vault. And I love it. It's a thrill. Definitely my best event. I have the power in my legs from soccer. So yeah.
How do you learn to do that without crashing and injuring yourself permanently before you get to the point where you do master it?
Trial and error. Plenty of times where I've wiped out, fallen down, hurt my coaches, but once you finally get it in that moment when you make that first vault and you stick it, it's a fantastic feeling. There's no words to describe it, and it's wonderful to compete.
Yeah. Clay's had a great gymnastics program. We were talking, it went from having one person on the team, Sarah Breyer, then Kylie Ault, who we had on here before, joined to make it a 2-person team, and the next thing you know, Clay Gymnastics was the best around.
Yeah. That's awesome. Kylie is a great athlete. I've competed with her at my club gymnastics, and being able to join the team my sophomore year when it was still very large was wonderful. The girls are so welcoming. I've known some of them from my club, so being able to join them again was wonderful, and it was very team-like. We were a family, and it was awesome.
Now, talking about the pageants, you just come back from a pretty prestigious international event. Tell us about that.
Well, I competed at the Miss Galaxy International Pageant in Orlando, Florida, and there I competed with girls from all around the world, Australia, Bahamas, UK, England, all those, and it was wonderful. I placed 2nd runner-up and best in swimwear, which was a surprise for me because I've never really placed in swimsuit, and it was wonderful. There's no experience like it, getting up on stage and proving all your hard work to the judges and showing them who you are and what you want to do with the title, because I know a lot of title holders do great things with their titles.
But you indicated it wasn't really something you thought about wanting to do or thinking you ever would do it. How did it all come about that you actually did it?
that was the year that I quit soccer, and I really didn't have anything to do. My theater program didn't start up, and I felt kind of lost. And then my coach was like, "Please do a pageant. I'll let you borrow my dress. I'll let you just please
Again, people
try
offer you things. Said, play basketball, go to the pageant, please." That's a good position to be in.
It was a good, yes. And then so finally I gave in. I was like, all right, I'll try it. It was a little sort of modeling-like, which I was used to before, so it was a great transition pageant for me. And I went and I hit that stage, and I'll tell you what, as soon as that happened, I was hooked. And I've been competing ever since.
Mm-hmm. So what all did it entail? Was it walking down the aisle and showing how graceful you walk and answering questions, and was talent a part of it, and all the things that people see in the televised pageants? What all did you have to do to prepare for this?
A little bit. The morning before you would have interview where the judges would ask you questions about yourself, you know, what you want to do with your title.
What do you think of the foreign situation, right?
Not that political. We didn't get asked that. And then that night would be show night, where you would get up in your swimwear, and then you would have fun fashion wear, and then your evening gown. And if you would make top 5, which I did, which was very surprising for my first pageant, you would have an onstage question out of a fishbowl. And then after that, they would announce the winner. And I was lucky enough for my very first pageant to win first runner-up.
That's outstanding. And now you're going to be competing in the Miss Teen USA program, or Miss Ohio Teen USA.
Yes.
So when is that going to take place?
That'll be in early November, and I'm very excited. That pageant system is one of the largest. The Miss Universe organization is very large and is very competitive, but I feel definitely coming off my Galaxy pageant, I have the experience, and I'm working with my coach now, and I feel very prepared. I'm excited.
Well, judging by the way you've handled these questions, I don't think that you're going to be the South Carolina contestant. I think you should be okay with that.
That was rough. That was rough.
Now I want to talk about you because you've been involved in theater too, and I just can't see you as the cruel stepmother to Cinderella, but that's you actually played that part.
I did. In Into the Woods, which was our last musical, I was Cinderella's stepmother, and definitely a fun character to do. The costumes were insanely awesome, but I definitely did my research. Luckily, the movie had just came out a couple months before, so I was able to sort of watch her figure out how she treats Cinderella in these certain situations.
You had to study Mean People.
I did. I watched a couple, like my Mean Girls and all those movies, to sort of figure out how to react, and then I applied them to that certain character and added my personality to it to get the overall ending.
Well, I'm certain that that's out of character for you. I'm convinced of that from this, but still, that's a great. It's a sign of a good actor that they can go and break the typecast and do well with it. I told you I was going to make her the focal point of the interview.
Hey, this has been fantastic.
But how's the team going to be this year?
You know, I'm looking forward to the season. I think we'll be very competitive. We did lose 7 fantastic seniors, and that's never easy to replace, but when you have 2 all-league and all-district girls coming back, it kind of softens that blow a little bit. And we have 2 other letter winners to go along with Hannah and Haley Hess, and then some younger players who were pretty successful at the freshman level and at the JV level. So they're going to compete for some playing time, and I'm excited for what our potential is.
Yeah, well, you don't always have the tallest players and that's the most physically imposing, but you always do really well because you play a good brand of basketball. Too bad you won't have Madison on the team to shore up that defense, but I'm sure you'll do well. Thanks to both of you for being in here tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Corey and Madison Slovak from Clay High School, and Greg Franke saying so long. Thanks for joining us on BCSN Sports Flash.